Hey guys, my name's Troy Hoffman. I'm the founder of Simpleris and the founder of Balancegenics and an executive mentor. What we do every week here is we're creating these things called Fireside Chats. We basically transform this entire space into a studio every week. 4, 3. In the house today we've got Walt Tomolina. Today in the studio we have Ty Cannon. He's also one of the top anti-aging doctors in the country and probably even in the world. And what I want you to see is the opportunity to be exposed to all these different entrepreneurs, all these different people that can share their wisdom and insights, because one idea can change your life today.
They want to be part of the outcome, but they don't necessarily want to be part of the process because it's scary. And if they hear you say collision and they're afraid of conflict, I got to go to the restroom. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Yes, they've done that.
I realized there's over 27 different hormones and hormone metabolites that exert a tremendous effect on your body, your mind, your performance, and whether you live or die.
You can actually apply something to that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's quite a
But here are the
crazy
three
network.
things. Check this out. You got to have exposure,
Yeah,
attitude,
yeah.
and alignment. Those are the three things that I always remind myself to build the business. Whatever business you're
Exposure,
looking at.
attitude, and alignment.
Exactly. So if you dissect all three of those, look at exposure. Exposure, you're looking at like marketing or social media or writing books or any type of exposure you can get out there, or connecting with other people. What kind of marketing are you doing, right?
One new concept, one new thing you can take back to your workplace, one new thing you can take back to your company, one new thing you can take back to your family to change the way you think and see and change everything about what you're doing and the actions you're going to take. All right, folks, welcome back to the Fireside Chats. Today in the house we have Mr. Awesome. Literally, that's what he calls himself. His name's Erik Swanson. And this guy actually is one of the few people that makes a living, and a legit living, traveling the country and the world, literally doing his Habitude Warriors conference. He's all over the nation. A lot of my friends and people I've got to know over the years are all his speakers. These people are powerful, they're dynamic. He attracts literally the best of the best in the entire country with the best stories, preaching on his stages, like literally on a regular basis. And he doesn't do like once a year. He's constantly doing events literally all over the country. And thousands upon thousands of people have heard him speak. They've been to his events, and he's literally impacting lives. He's got a huge following all over the place. He just brought 5 of his books. He's got more, I think.
It's true.
And I'm like, do you just wake up and say, I'm awesome? And you do, because you call yourself Mr. Awesome, right?
You have to. You got to convince yourself.
Look at this. I mean, I just want to show you, here's the secrets of the Habitude Warriors.
That's right.
And the Habitude. Here's Junior Habitude Warriors for the young people
For the
out there.
kids.
And you're doing a lot more of this junior stuff right now.
We are, yeah.
Like-
Impacting kids all over the world. We teach them confidence, leadership, and personal development.
Erik, that's amazing,
It's
dude.
awesome, man.
And then we have Social Millions.
Yep, that's right.
And this book has a lot of meaning to you.
It does, yeah, it does.
And do you want to just share that story? Let's stop here for a second.
You want to talk about that now? Really? You want to
100% right from the
now?
beginning. Yeah, right from the beginning, because
All right.
I'm in the same boat as you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I got some things partner up on that conversation because one is why in the world are you doing all this?
Right.
And then, why in the world even start this? Why in the world are you doing this? Why did you call it Habitudes?
Right.
And why this book? And what happened with this book?
Wow. Okay. Which number of question do you want me to start with?
Let's start with
I love
first.
it. First of all, you rock, man. I got to tell you.
Thanks,
tell you, man. Thanks for bringing me in. This is great.
Erik,
I hate your background though. This is this place sucks.
I'm just honored you're here. I'm honored you're here. This is great. I'm super stoked.
It's amazing.
I followed you for years. It's a really cool
Thanks,
experience, man.
Appreciate it.
And so why, first off, why'd you even get in this world? What happened to you specifically? What's the drive? Because you're very, very driven in this
Thanks, man.
world.
Appreciate it.
Really driven. Because this is not an easy world to make money in. It's a really tough world. There's some really shitty people sometimes in this world. There's people that sometimes want to take advantage of people.
Right.
And you've been able to navigate and hold context.
Right.
And hold the container for a lot of egos, a lot of personalities, and hold them all together.
We have a list of those personalities.
No,
where
no.
do we put that? I'm just
But
kidding.
you know what I mean? Like this world,
Yeah.
people, there's some, and then yet you are so humble and so
Thanks, man.
kind and so nice. And I've met you so many times at so many events. And like, it's just cool. Like you're a great guy.
Yeah.
Like you're
Thanks,
an awesome
man.
guy.
Appreciate
so,
it.
Seriously.
This is great. Keep it coming, man. This is awesome.
So
I got started
How?
with Brian Tracy, and that's actually where
How old
you
were
and
you?
I met. So 20 years ago, I started with Brian Tracy, and
So
started
you're-
working with him.
you're like 28 years older.
Yeah, it was
that.
something like that, right? Yeah.
Late 20s, right?
Yeah, it was mid 20s and to late 20s. I started with him, and one of the first things that he had mentioned to me to do was to diversify myself, to learn from other
So
people.
what were you doing before this?
I was a waiter.
You were a
Yeah,
waiter. You
yeah.
met Brian where?
Yeah, at a restaurant in
You met him at a
Austin,
restaurant,
Texas.
in Austin.
Yeah.
So he was a guy just sitting at your table.
Some guy. I
You
had
just
no
happened to
idea.
randomly meet this guy.
Yeah.
So what about him impacted your life at that moment?
So he asked me, he said, hey, do you like to travel and do you like to make money? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, if you know anyone who's interested in doing that, let me know. And I'm like, I thought about it for like a weekend. I'm like, what about me? So called him up and he's like, oh, we didn't think about you. But he was obviously
was he-
prospecting me.
For what?
Just to come on to work with him as a trainer, as a senior trainer to go and rep him and travel the country and working.
So
as
Brian literally met
ticket
you at a
sales.
restaurant.
Yeah.
And recruited you.
Yep, exactly.
And
Yep.
like he's like, this guy is a great talker probably.
It was just the personality. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
He looked at that and said, "Well, this guy has a pretty good personality,
Yeah.
and we can train that, which is
Yeah.
good." So
And to rep his products, to rep
correct,
his,
yeah, his
Brian
trainings
Tracy,
and
his trainings, international
events,
sales
exactly,
and events.
Exactly.
And so you
Yeah.
called him
Yeah.
after he said that. He
Yeah.
gave you your number at this table.
Right.
What restaurant was it?
Mezzaluna.
What-
I don't
what-
think it's there
what
anymore.
kind of
It's-
restaurant is that
It's in
in
Austin,
Austin?
Texas. It was a great Italian, like trendy, really cool
That's right.
Italian restaurant in Austin,
I
Texas.
was able to bartend for years too.
Okay.
Man. Loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
I went to Austin for the first time finally like last year.
okay.
For like a guys trip to go wakeboarding and
Yeah.
go see Austin.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was incredible. I had the best
beautiful,
time.
man.
It's amazing.
Lake Austin's amazing.
So you grew up there.
No, I didn't grow up there. No,
You
I
just
grew up
happened to-
in Washington D.C. area.
Got it.
And I moved to Austin because my buddy is like, hey, come on out. It's Texas.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. And I'm like, all right, Hoss.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like cowboy and all
Yeah.
this stuff, right? And it turned out to be a really cool city.
That's awesome.
So I was waiting tables. I was 25, 26 years old and got started with Brian. And
So you called him and what did he say? Like come out, like
Yeah,
train
they-
you? We're gonna like
they put me together with the managers and they started to train me with
So we had
Brian
like
Tracy.
a company.
Oh, yeah.
A big company.
Absolutely. yeah.
How many employees did Brian have going at the time, like in this?
Oh man, I don't remember. I don't remember back then. I mean,
20, 30?
I was one of no, probably like 10 or 15 people.
Got it, okay.
That worked with him.
That's
you
rad.
know. So I started working with him. One of my first goals was to. I told him straight out. I said, Brian, okay, I'm gonna set you. You're telling me to set goals, so I'm gonna set about 3 or 4 different goals right off the bat, and I'm gonna tell you what they are right now. He's like, all right, what are they? So I said, I'm gonna make X amount of dollars. I told him that. I said, I'm gonna be driving a Porsche one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to be driving a Maserati one day.
Yeah.
I'm going to be having you share my stages with me. And sure enough,
And
all
you're
that's
like
happened.
26, 27 years
yeah,
old. Tell me
yeah.
Brian Tracy
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
High five,
And it worked, man. I mean, putting it, and I wrote it down. And over the years, it's amazing what goal setting really does,
Yeah.
you know, because I hit those goals. I started becoming a senior trainer with him, and then I branched off, and now he's sharing my stages with the Habitude Warrior.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It's cool how
Eric,
it
I
comes
had
full
no idea
circle.
about any of this,
Yeah,
honestly. Like,
yeah.
I saw Brian as a kid. Like, I'd be a chauffeur for like the like Peter Lowe seminars
Yeah,
back in the day.
yeah,
I tried
yeah.
to volunteer
Yeah.
to like just pick up
Volunteer.
the speakers to be the chauffeur, like just
Right.
so I could pick them up from the airport, just to get time with the speakers and hang out with them and see what they're like and like
Right.
and because otherwise you couldn't get access to these
Right.
people. And if I had no money. Like you'd be able to get like a free tape or a free
Yeah.
CD out of the deal or
That's the way
something.
to do
like,
it, though. That's
it was
great that you did.
awesome, man. Like and like Brian was like, you always amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Brian's amazing.
so then you did this for how long? Did you work for him before you
So-
started your own gig?
Yeah, so I started with Brian. I worked with him for about 7 or 8 years. Then I branched off, and before I branched off, though, I was in Houston, Texas. And you asked me how I got the genesis of the name Habitude. So I'm sitting there in Houston, Texas at one of Brian's events, and we had this other gentleman there. His name was Jim, and he's on stage and so forth. And he comes up to me afterwards and he says, "Hey, Eric, so what do you do?" I said, "Well, you know, I was really excited. I was like, I'm the best salesperson there is for Brian Tracy programs."
Yeah.
He goes, "What do you really want to do?" And I said, "Huh, interesting. So I thought about that. I went away. I came back. I got scared because this guy, I forgot to tell you his last name, by the way. It's Jim Rohn. I'm speaking to Jim Rohn about this, okay? And I come back and I get a little nervous, so I walk away again. I come back again and I go, all right, Jim, I got it. I know what I want to do. I want to help people with their habits and their attitude. And he said, you should put that together. So I literally put it together, literally the word habitude. And that's where it came from, is Jim Rohn. When I was sitting there before he passed, like about
So
a
he
year
like
before.
literally said, here's my baton.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking run with it, man.
Yeah, I took that and
Like you literally had the baton passed to you in that
true.
sense,
Yeah.
energetically or spiritually or whatever you want to call
Absolutely.
it. Like,
yeah.
wow, because he carried the baton
He's
of the
amazing.
motivational speakers, like Les Brown, the baton's being passed on.
Yeah.
These guys that are out there speaking to the world, like,
Right.
how do you transform your life? How do you accomplish goals? How do you manifest visions? How do you do all this? Like, you know what I mean? Like these
Yeah.
were the original founders,
Absolutely.
like Charlie Tremendous Jones.
Oh,
like
man. I
all
met
these,
Charlie. Have you ever met him?
No, I
Oh,
only
man.
know their tapes. Like
Oh.
Eric, like
When I met Charlie Tremendous Jones, I had to go through a sea of these girls that were. He had like 9 women around him because they
Wow.
loved him, and
Yeah.
they're all. And he's telling all these stories and everything, and
Yeah.
he has his eye patch, and he was amazing. You know,
That's
Just
amazing.
amazing gentleman.
I grew up just getting these audios and finding them in the libraries
Yeah.
and getting this stuff in the libraries. And like, I didn't have access to this world. I kind of stumbled upon Amway and you'd hear some
Yeah.
speakers and then you'd go to the library and you try to see what cassette tapes of the different
Right.
libraries.
Right.
I just read them from the library or buy what I could at the conference
Yeah.
I could afford and just devour. I was nowhere even near. Like these guys were like gods or
Yeah.
giants
Yeah.
or like to me as a kid. And yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Like it changed my life.
It's so
being
true.
around these speakers, being like, that's why I'm doing this today because those guys changed me. Like I was a
Right.
punk ass kid in a world where people didn't talk about gold. They didn't talk about vision. They didn't talk about
Right.
how in the world do you make it to Europe? How in the world do you have these amazing experiences in life?
Right.
How do you build real companies? How do you build real businesses? How do you live an amazing marriage or have an amazing relationship? Like all these things, all these skill sets were just not there at the time. The closest
Right.
thing was like ministry or church world,
Right.
where they talked about the Bible or something was about the closest I get access to. And some teachers that were kind of inspirational, but it was like little pops. It wasn't like
Yeah.
a full rounded thing. And then you hear these speakers like Les and then Zig Ziglar, and I would be like,
Sure.
and like, we're not going to the top, we're going over the top.
Over
And
the top.
I'd play the song,
That's right.
like these tapes over and
Yeah.
over and over again. Like I dragged my friend John and Julia, we're gonna smoke
Awesome.
cigarettes and drink Mountain Dews, and we're gonna go look
Stay
at
up all
boats.
night long.
We're gonna drive all the way down to West Palm to go look at all the boats and all the houses and be like, how do one day we become like these people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
we,
like,
we used to call it stepping on millionaires.
it was
'Cause
crazy.
what we would do is we'd take those cassette tapes, you know, we had the 2-pocket cassette tapes. There were 2 tapes within this because we
Yeah.
couldn't afford the 6 or 8
Yes.
eight tapes. So we would take these 2.
And it was back in the day we actually opened this plastic
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
up.
There
1,
were
2,
8, yeah,
3,
exactly,
4,
yeah.
5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8 tapes
Exactly,
in it.
yeah.
I've got a pile of them from Mark Victor Hansen. I bought everything he had.
Awesome.
He had like a sale one time and I was a chauffeur and he sold me everything he had, like, and I would like
Yeah.
devour it in notes and like
Yeah.
I was like, one day I'm gonna actually get to hang out with them and
Yeah.
finally get to hang out
And
with
now
him.
you are.
I
It's
got
great.
to hang out with him and like take him paddleboarding with his
Yeah.
wife Crystal and their kids kayaking and it was
Yeah.
like, I'm like, holy
Mark's
crap,
amazing.
God. Like,
Mark's amazing.
yeah.
He, I saw Mark in Vegas. So he and I share a lot of different stages, but sometimes our schedules don't match up. So I fly in and I speak, and then I have to fly out, and he flies in, et cetera, and flies out. So I hadn't met him yet, and I'm speaking probably 5-6 years ago in Vegas, and I know he's on the lineup as well. And I'm walking through the Vegas, the Palms or whatever hotel it was, through the casino, and all I hear is, "Mr. Awesome, I need to meet you." And I'm like, it was Mark Victor Hansen.
Wow.
You kind of made it when Mark Victor Hansen's looking at you.
And he knows your
You know,
name.
Yeah, I'm like, cool.
That's
Yeah.
huge. Like, because he's
Yeah.
like sold more books than almost anyone alive,
Oh, he's
right?
amazing. Yeah.
He's over like 500 million books now he
Right.
sold or something like
Yeah.
that. Ridiculous.
Chicken soup for the soul, man. It's
It
amazing.
blew up.
So like stepping on millionaires, what we would do is we would take the cassettes and we stick them on the back of our my car. You know, I had this little 2-door BMW, you know, M series, whatever it was, and it was a 2-door. So I would have all these tapes sitting.
Oh, I know the feeling. Like
ground.
literally had piles.
Yeah, and it's
in the back.
millionaires
Yeah.
back there. So I call it stepping
Yeah.
on millionaires.
Yeah.
You know, and learning from these guys. So,
No, I mean, it really
amazing. Mm-hmm.
changed me. Like, that's what I love about this world. So, but you got lucky
Yeah.
to be a waiter and just be like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
We're going to suck you in
Yeah.
and spit you out.
Right.
And you found your calling or your destiny almost like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, that's
I love it.
crazy. So you created the word Habitude,
Correct. Well, yeah.
which is
Jim Rohn and I talked about it, and it's Habitude Warrior, and it's all about your habits and your attitude put together. And we created this whole really community, if you will. Like it's a conference. It's a 3-day conference. We put on 33 speakers for 3 days, all TED Talk style.
That's rad.
So it's little to no selling. We don't like that. We like to just
Vignettes.
go and give. Yeah.
It's
So
amazing.
it's really cool. It's a lot of
So
fun.
now you got all these books.
Yeah. This
And
one's
this
a cool
one.
one. Check this one out.
Go for
This
it.
one's called Crush and Dominate. 13 strategies to piss off your competitors.
Nice. I'm
It's
gonna read
awesome.
this one.
It's awesome.
Aaron, don't let me forget not to read this one.
They're
real
all
quick,
yours,
okay?
man. This one,
Okay.
I wrote this one as a flip book. Check this one out. So
Habitude
it's
Warrior
time
is time?
management, right?
Okay.
So would you agree that it's not enough just to have to-do lists, but you have to have not to-do list, right?
100%. Yeah, this
Yeah.
you just don't touch.
Correct. So what I do is this: half the book reads this way, to-do list. You flip it the other way, it reads backwards, not to-do list that way. Pretty cool. Right?
Oh, I thought
There you go.
that's a
Yeah.
good one. That,
You should see see the ebook version. You're like, what?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Eric, that's actually really good. I'm impressed.
it's kind of fun.
And we talked about the ones for this.
Yeah.
What's the secret?
So this is my first book, and there's probably still typos in there. It's great. It's basically 50 different secret habits that I do on a daily and weekly basis. You know, like, and everyone, you know, there's tons of them. I mean, one of them's like my 60-second morning mirror.
You brush your teeth.
So, well, brush your teeth.
Okay.
It's during my 60-second morning mirror, when I'm brushing my teeth, what I do is I look in the mirror of success, and I say to myself, this is going to be a great day. And I have a conversation eyeball to eyeball for about 60 seconds.
I listen to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, and
I'm
listen
like,
to Snoop
living
Dogg.
my best
I don't know
life.
about that, yeah. But what I do is this: after about 60 seconds of talking to myself, like pumping myself up, then I high five the mirror right before I leave from my day.
That's
Because check it out, like if you high five a mirror, you never fail. It's like you're always gonna win, right?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna high five yourself. It's perfect.
So let me ask you this then: with doing all these things, like,
Sure.
what are the things that hold you back? What are the things that cause you to be like down, or what are the things that like kick you in the ass? Like, with all this experience, being on the top speakers, like, what are the things that you're still experiencing, even with all this education, all this knowledge? Where are the moments that you're still experiencing self-doubt and fear and uncertainty and any shame, guilt, or anything that pop up and you're like, even though I'm this far, that these things are still popping up in my life? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know it, like, in my world, even trying to run a company, like, I experience with all of this, I still experience like, man, why am I not doing this? And I shut myself, or why aren't we doing better here? Or, man, I know we could be doing better in this, or man, why did I screw this up? Or,
But that's
man, why am I
normal. I mean,
experiencing this crap? Or why did this person quit on me? Or why did this,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
But
I'm
that's
just curious,
great.
like,
That's
what
good
are
to
the-
have.
What are the things that are hitting you in life personally?
Oh,
that,
all
like,
the same things. I mean, what I'm saying is that's good to have. Troy, you want to have those, because if you don't have those, then you're not growing. I mean, it's all about, like, I'm just like the next person, you know, sitting next to us.
So
You
what
know,
are the
it's
things for you specifically? that
all
you're-
the things you just said. I mean, there's
What holds you
of
back
course,
sometimes?
self-doubt sometimes of, should we go in that city? Should we go in this market? Is it saturated? How's this person? You know, it's dealing with all these different personalities. Like for my business, it's a little tough, because we have to deal with not only, you know, inside team members. We've got about 15 or 20 of them, but then we have to deal with 30 different speakers, or 33 speakers in 30 different markets or cities in the U.S. So it's like, it's a revolving door of relationship management. Yeah. So
Is that the challenge for you?
well, of
To
course,
keep everyone
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
going,
yeah.
and who's showing up and who's not.
Of course.
And who gets to speak when, and
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. There's tons of challenges, but my biggest point is this: all those challenges that come up, what I do is I'm constantly reminding myself that everyone else has these challenges. So who better to deal with this than myself, you know, or my team? So I love those challenges when I welcome them, you know, and I've learned this, that it's literally just a decision. It's making that decision to say to yourself, you know what, everyone else,
Like, what
other people
specifically?
have.
Like, what is one thing you like? I got to make a decision that this is okay. Like, literally,
Yeah.
like
Like,
these
to have
challenges are
that
going to
bad-
come. Like, these
yeah.
people aren't going to show up, or these people are going to come and go, and or whatever it is, whatever the big rock that you've like hit recently, or challenge you say, I'm just going to grow from this. Like, what are some recent decisions you made personally that, like, I'm going to overcome this? Like, I'm going to step up. Like me, it's like leadership. Like, I'm going to get more feedback. I'm going to actually triple down on my leadership feedback and hire Summer Anderson and Mirror Partners to come in, analyze every single person in the company, spend the money on analyzing my leadership, the team's leadership, where I fall according her view of the last 30 years of her life and her partners and the other people in her organization, and analyze the top CEOs for the SaaS companies, the top venture-backed companies, the top PE companies, some of the Fortune 500 companies, like the largest consulting companies in the nation. She's worked with the top executives at Allergan and all these other companies and say, Troy, what's working for you and here's what's not working. Here's what's great about you and your skill set, and here's the things that we need to shift, and here's where we think you should fit. And so
That's
I
awesome.
can even step up even farther later and get more mirrors. It's funny that I named Mirror Partner. I just actually thought about that
More mirrors.
on me, so I can look back and say, where am I succeeding and where am I failing? Where do I need to step up, and how do I live out this quote? Like, again, we had Robert D. McDonald on another show, and he's talking about our identity, our beliefs, and our convictions of who we are create this identity, and these things mold together. And I have this like conviction or belief that I will do whatever it takes to lead my people. And it's like this conviction that's deep, like no matter what it takes, I will do whatever it takes to lead my people. And whatever that is, so I keep growing. So that's like one of the things I'm doing right now.
That's awesome.
And it sucks because I literally had God or the universe,
Sounds great, though.
whatever you want to call it, is like I had 2 days with this guy, Garrett J. White, giving me direct feedback with 2 other guys, all running big companies. And all of us, or the 4 of us, are just like 2 days straight. Like I'm just goal setting, figuring out what's working, what's not, getting tons of feedback to each other. Then I went into a whole week with my brother and Scott, who's currently running the company. Then went into a Monday with her and her team and all the feedback, into a Tuesday with a ton of feedback with her and the team, and like then a Wednesday with Robert. So like literally 7 days straight of feedback about leadership, and like, okay, be careful what you ask for. You know what I mean? I'm trying to change and transform to like this next level, so I can become all that I can be. So what are those things in your life lately, Eric, that have been growing you and expanding you, that you've been like intentionally pushing on or whatever?
Yeah, so, I guess it's just, I don't have a specific thing to let you know that, because they all those things that you mentioned earlier, those happen on a daily and weekly basis for us. But it's the way you handle those, and in my estimation. And what I've done is, I've noticed this. I've noticed that I kind of run circles around other competitors of mine, if you will.
In the seminar space.
At this level, by the way, there's no competition. It's more collaboration these days. But I kind of run circles around other people where they're trying to dissect what they're doing right and wrong, and I'm just getting out there and doing it. I'm constantly doing
I've watched that about you. It's funny, actually. Like, you're always showing your camera and going live and all the time, constantly doing, just showing up at a city and making it happen, and like.
Well, that's my point. Is like, so many people just, they want to do this, and I'm not saying that's wrong to do, to look at those mirrors and find out what's working and those assessments. Those are great. But I think a lot of people take too much time to do that, and they shut down. They literally shut down their businesses. For me, I keep on going, moving on. If we do a great job in pick a market, pick a city, Chicago, let's say, and we do an okay job in New York City, and there's only 200 people instead of 400 people that show up, then we just reassess it and say, okay, what went right, what went wrong, what can we change?
100%.
Those are 3 things. What I always teach is this. There's 3 things. I teach my team this, I teach myself this. There are basically 3 things to build.
You had 15 people.
Yeah, well, that's just
10 to 15 people that are
that's
working
just on my team.
full
and then we've
time?
Got,
full time, 15 people constantly running all these. Eric, that's insane.
And then we have
team
satellite. It's a whole. It's a great.
Quite
great
a
thing. But here are the 3
network.
things. Check this out. You got to have exposure, attitude, and alignment. Those are the 3 things that I always remind myself to build the business. Whatever business you're looking at.
Attitude, and alignment.
Exactly. So if you dissect all 3 of those, look at exposure. Exposure, you're looking at like marketing or social media or writing books or any type of exposure you can get out there, or connecting with other people. What kind of marketing are you doing, right? Second thing is attitude. I mean, everyone looks at like positive mental attitude. Yeah, I agree. You need to have a great attitude on a consistent basis, but we're all going to get beaten up every now and then. So if you learn the techniques to get yourself out of that, then you're golden, And then the third thing is alignment. And alignment's huge. A lot of people don't, and I'm talking about 2 different facets of alignment. Alignment in aligning yourself and your team on the same mission, but also aligning yourself with other individuals that will help you because they're experts in their fields. Does that make sense? Like I have a friend of mine that says, "Oh, my team, you know," he goes, I have 7 MBAs and I have X amount of master this and that," and he's like, people are like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, I have 7 team players that have masters. He doesn't have any masters at all, but he goes ahead and hires the right individuals to build his team."
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. So it's alignment, you know?
So you've built this thing up to that level of a seminar company now.
Yeah.
To have that many people involved. I mean,
really
this
a
thing's
community,
it's
but yeah.
kind of a beast then.
Yeah,
That's incredible, Eric.
it's awesome. It's so much fun.
Like I don't really know much about you,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. Like I don't know much about the seminar world.
Yeah.
I kind of do. I remember hearing the stories about the Peter Lowe days,
Yeah.
and we did some stuff in like the past in the church world and
Right.
doing things. But it's like, and I've got a couple friends that are speakers, have their own seminars and their own crews that are selling motivational stuff, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's funny to see these back ends. Like my buddy Garrett J. White, I was telling you
Yeah.
about. Like he's amazing, and like the size of the team they have internal, the systems, it's intense.
Yeah.
Like the amount of like stuff you have to make all these things actually fly, and you
Right.
have that many people show up to these conferences,
fun.
400 like people, and you're doing how many of these a year?
We upped it actually this past couple years. I've been working on something called double double. So we double the income that we're bringing in, and we double the time off that we do it in. So it's kind of a
Nice.
cool concept. So what we're doing is we've literally doubled our markets, our cities. So right now
So
we're
what does
in,
that mean? Like
we're in
specifically?
basically 6
Just
different
curious, I know nothing about the
cities.
seminar world.
Yeah, we're in about 6 different cities for every 6 months. We're in 6 different cities.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's like one
So
a
it's
month
about
a
12.
seminar
Correct. Yeah.
you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So 12 a year, 10 a
Yeah.
year, basically.
Yeah.
And you're just doubling the size of those seminars, or
Yep.
trying to sell more products, or
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's rad.
We
man.
do all of that. Yeah.
And then so the cities you're doing, is it like you go back to the same cities yearly, or just
Yeah. Every 2 years or 3 years we go back.
got it?
Yeah. We let it sit for a little bit.
So you
then
go
we
to
back.
San Diego, then Orange County, then LA,
Yeah.
then San Fran,
Yeah.
then Seattle, then
Yeah.
then you go back
Right
to
now
the
we're
cycle.
in. Let's see. We're in Dallas. Coming up, Dallas, Kansas City, St. Louis, Toronto, Sydney, and London.
Sydney and
Yeah.
London.
You want to come? Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
One day, man. One day I'll get to your
Let's
level,
do it.
man, and I'll be a speaker
We gotta
with
have you
man.
come over there and
One day.
interview.
One day, man.
love
So Eric, like Sydney, like how in the world do you just buy ads, or you do
No,
marketing?
we just pick the market. We just pick it. We
just
say,
pick
hey,
it
we're
and
going to go
say-
there.
And you buy ads. You have like a pre-team
No
go
ads.
there, or
No, we have.
how do
we
you
have,
pre-sell then?
Yeah, we have a team that goes ahead, an inside team and an outside team. So
Uh-huh.
the inside team goes ahead and calls different companies, organizations, associations, and gets our outside guys into those companies, and then people just buy tickets to our events. Yeah,
So you've got it rolling at that level now. That's pretty sweet, Eric.
it's fun.
It's pretty
fun.
sweet.
But it's changing lives. That's
So
the thing. It's not
yeah,
about
it's
the money.
amazing.
It's about
No.
it's about I wear a
That's why we do this. I mean, like that's
Yeah.
the whole reason. Like, there's no other reason.
I wear a
Like,
dog
legitimately.
tag. Hopefully I can take it off without messing up the microphone. We have a dog tag that says NDSO, and it's all about no drama, serve others. So it's all about serving people. So that's what, the reason why we do all of this is not about the money. It's not about success or anything like that. It's all about helping people. That's
awesome, man.
our number one goal.
And that's what keeps you going right now. So
Absolutely.
when you have all this downtime now, what are you doing with yourself now?
Building.
On the personal.
Continuing to build and
The brand.
coming up here
the
and hanging
stuff.
out with you, man, in this beautiful place.
Yeah, and this what you do is just kind of like
Yeah.
hang out with people. I mean, I always hear about you, like with
Yeah.
different people or different friends, or
Yeah.
follow you like all the time online.
Thanks, man.
It's really awesome stuff you're doing. Like it
Thank
really
you.
is.
Appreciate it very much.
So
Yeah, it's a great book.
you want to share?
Sure. Yeah, no worries.
Share away. Like,
All right.
where do you want to go for, man?
All right, so here's the deal. So this book, it's called Social Millions. I wrote this book. So a lot of people don't even, they have a lot of books in their minds and they don't actually put it on paper. They don't actually publish it, right? Yeah. So I started doing that, and this book was really dear to my heart because it's called Social Millions. People ask me, hey, how do you get on this social media platforms, and how are you're all over the place. I'm like, well, I'll teach you, So I just put it in 10 different chapters in here. I wrote it down and published a book. So I dedicated this book to my father, and it's on page 8, I think, the cool dedication. Here it is. And my brother's 50th birthday was a couple years ago, and we're all going to do this really cool party in New Orleans. So everyone's cruising down to New Orleans.
Yeah.
and my dad's cruising down there from Vermont. He lives in Vermont, and I get there a couple days early, and I decided I was going to give this to him, and he actually passed away on the flight coming to see me.
Wow, man.
On the flight, or coming to see my brother.
How long ago was this?
2 years ago. Yeah.
My dad passed away October of 2016.
Okay, 2016.
He went to heaven,
Yeah.
you know, and it was like, and it's sad because you're losing your dad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one of the crazy experiences of losing the parent.
Yeah.
And like,
Were you very close with your father?
I was close.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up, he was a great mentor. Like,
Yeah.
I was blessed to have amazing parents. My mom's amazing, my dad's amazing, like, super lucky, man. Same
That's
thing,
awesome.
like,
Yeah,
it was
my
sad.
father is, he's my best friend, you know, he always will be.
Yeah.
And that's where after about, and I was the one that got the call too, like from the medical examiner, and found out that he passed. And probably about 10 days later, I finally got some sleep because I was pretty much in shock the whole 10 days.
Yeah.
And then, and this dream came to me in these initials that I just shared with you, the NDSO that's on my dog tag.
Yeah.
And I wrote that, and I said,
After
I'm
all
going to share
this.
this. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah. So I decided that that's my calling now, just helping people. That's it. It's all about helping people, you know.
So let me ask you this then. Before that moment you met Brian,
Right?
like,
Brian,
did you,
okay, years
Brian
ago.
Tracy,
Yeah.
did you have any inclination, like, when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 18,
Right.
22, was there anything that showed up in your life? Like, this guy before was here, Dr. Robert D. McDonald,
Okay.
one of the original, like, people that helped create, like, techniques in NLP, one of the original documenters
Right.
of NLP. He's practiced it for like 50 years. He says, our destinies, our mission, we don't develop it, or we detect it.
Right, yeah.
We discover it.
You discover it,
We
yeah.
discover who
Yeah.
we are as we detect it as we're moving through this life, and all of a sudden things pop up, and we're like, oh, we're discovering who we
Yeah.
are and what our life's mission is.
I agree with that.
And like my life's mission is like literally to encourage and be encouraged. Like,
Right.
I want to hang around Erik Swanson because I want to be encouraged by Erik. I want to see like
Thanks, dude.
all the cool things you're doing, and then I want to encourage others by sharing all these people that I'm meeting and what's going on in my life and the messages, the things that are transforming my life,
Yeah.
and sharing with the world. That's why we do all this, right? To encourage and be encouraged, right? So was there anything before that moment, like that was like an amazing moment,
Yeah.
to have that happen, that just literally just took your life right out of the restaurant and goes,
Absolutely, yeah.
and then have Jim Rohn like sweep into
Right.
like
Yeah.
two of the biggest names
Yeah.
in true transformation, two of the greatest leaders, two of the greatest hearts, two of the
Right.
greatest guys that like, man, no one can deny their leadership, their impact,
Absolutely.
their level of guidance of a nation of people, and there are literally thousands upon thousands of people that are
Millions.
changing people's lives,
Yeah.
that are doing this and spreading the message
Right.
of hope, spreading the message of greatness, spreading the message of vision, spreading the message of goal setting, spreading the message of motivation and inspiration and how to change our lives
Right.
to live an amazing life because of those two men.
Yeah, I agree.
And one of them literally
Yeah.
grabbed you and said, "Come
Yeah.
on, I'm going to train
Yeah,
you." and
both
push
of
you,
them, both
like,
of them
put you in
inspired
the
me.
world.
Yeah.
So was there anything that
There were a couple other guys
That's
actually that really transformed my life as well. Those two were major, and then the another gentleman was Les Brown. You know,
Yeah.
Les Brown. I was getting off stage one time. That's how I got my nickname, Mr. Awesome. It's not because I just woke up one day and I called myself that. You know,
Yeah.
it was actually I was getting off stage one day and in California, I think San Diego. And Les was in the audience,
Yeah.
and he comes up to me and goes, "You're Mr. Awesome." So when Les calls you that, you know,
You
gotta,
just
keep
go with it.
You gotta go with it. You know?
Yeah, I got to go to his
So-
birthday party. I never
Yeah.
met him yet.
Yeah.
I've never had the opportunity, but I got to meet
Yeah.
his son, and I spoke at a conference that his son was at recently in Vegas, and I got to meet his son, which is awesome. And his son allowed me to go to his 75th birthday
Yeah.
party, and that was cool just to even be that close to him.
Absolutely.
Because those tapes, like, I mean, Eric, like, those
Oh,
things
Les
changed my
Brown's-
life.
yeah, he's amazing.
Zig's tapes,
Yeah.
like, I mean, these guys were like giants. I never thought I'd even get that
Yeah.
close to, and I mean,
Can
I'm here
can I
today
share a
because
s-
of these tapes.
Can I share a
I mean,
story
I'm
about
here today. Like, I'm alive. I'm not dead.
Right.
I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not on
Awesome.
drugs because of things like this. This
We gotta get
world.
you off of coffee.
You know what I mean?
Remember?
Coffee's my last thing. Like, that's it. Damn it. Okay.
Can I share a story about
Yeah, please.
another? Okay, so I grew up listening to a guy named Wayne Dyer.
Yeah, Wayne.
Dr.
yes.
Wayne Dyer.
I've seen him on
Everyone knows
TV,
him.
yeah.
You know, I was 17 years old. I was going through this like breakup, right? It was the worst breakup of my life, and I was 17, right? So anyway, it was like this.
Yeah.
You know, it was in high school. I was whatever. So I was like all devastated, and my friend's like, hey, listen to Wayne Dyer. So I'm like, all right. So I put it on. I had this cassette tape and listened to him.
Yeah.
So I listened to Your Erroneous Zones or Gifts from Icus or whatever I was listening to. And I became a Wayne Dyer junkie who was great. I loved
17.
it. Yeah, 17,
That's like when I got
old.
into motivation.
Yeah.
I got into Amway at 17
Yeah.
and just started devouring all these books and tapes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So fast forward about 8 or 10 years, maybe later, 10 or 12 years later, I had an opportunity. I had an event, and I was in this space now. Okay, I guess it was later than that, 14 years later. I was in the space, and I had an opening for a speaker.
Yeah.
And somebody said, you should call Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's in the town that you're doing the event in. Maybe he can swing down and speak. Of course, you'd have to pay him, but here's his contact information. Call that office and see what you could do. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So you were asking me before about fear. Well, here's where it poked its head up. So I get on the phone. I dial the number. And Wayne Dyer answers the phone.
That's awesome.
He literally answers the phone.
That's awesome.
You know what I did?
You froze. You hung up.
I hung up on Wayne Dyer.
No way.
I did.
That's
I
awesome.
hung up on Wayne Dyer. I
Yes.
was so scared. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to answer the phone.
That's crazy.
But
How
you
old
know
were you?
his voice, right?
How old are you then?
I was 28, 30 years old, maybe 32.
So you worked for Brian at the time.
Yeah. No, I guess I was a little older than that. I was like 30, 33, 34 years old. I just finished working with Brian, and I started doing our events back then.
Yeah.
So that's the time, and I hung up, and I called back, and he didn't answer again.
Oh, he's like
some guy just
Okay.
hung up on me,
Oh,
So I'm bummed. I ended up meeting him a couple years later.
Did
And
you tell him the story?
yeah, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
it was funny. Yeah, great guy though.
Eric, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we got to stop. I think we've gone for a while.
Oh man, let's
But-
go 7 more hours.
No, but like, dude, I love you,
You're
man.
awesome, dude.
Eric, seriously, thanks,
you.
bro, for doing
Thank
this.
you.
Um,
Appreciate you, man.
I think we're gonna put a link to your stuff.
Okay.
One, if there's anything
Sure.
you want to give away that we can give away to
Yeah.
anybody on the link,
Sure.
think about whatever that is.
Just go to awesomeswanson.com.
We'll go
easy.
there. We'll put a link to the thing
Oh,
or
perfect.
something like that,
Yeah.
and maybe do a affiliate link or something. We can help you out or
Happy
something. Folks, get a chance to follow Eric if you get a chance. Like the guy's actually true heart. Like underneath it all,
Thanks, man.
he's really hard. He really does want to serve people. I've met him randomly in situations where I didn't really know what you did or who you
Yeah.
were. Like through one day, he came down to the place, the Peninsula, one time and hung out with your dogs.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've hung out with you in Dallas one time, and I've
right.
hung out with you like forget one other event or something we've hung out at or something. But like, Eric's really just like I don't know how you got such a large seminar thing going on or whatever, and it's amazing what he's doing. I know he had all these books and like all this stuff, and I know a lot of my friends know you and they like you.
Thank you.
And that's what I know about you.
That's
You know what I
good
mean? Like guys that
It's always
like,
good news.
that speak and travel and speak for you. And
Thanks, man.
I think one of the guys was like, this guy Dominic Karuba.
Okay.
This guy Doug Grady.
Yeah.
It was kind of like talked about you one time, and
Yeah.
like different connections across
Yeah.
different platforms, and like Bob Donnell, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all these different random connections that I've just been friends with like randomly in my life, and
Yeah.
they all knew they're your stage guys speaking for you and
Right.
stuff. So it was awesome. So follow the link. Find Eric, go to one of his conferences, hang out with the Habitude Warriors, because you can never get enough motivation. You can never get enough inspiration. You can never get enough of people sharing their stories, and you're constantly feeding yourself over and over again in some way, shape, or form. And the question is, what do you need to do in your life to keep feeding you, to take you to your destiny, to take you to your purpose, to take you to the next level of you? Because honestly, if you ever stop growing, you're going to start going backward. You're going to start sliding backward. You're going to start dying. So who is going to challenge you? Seriously, like I set my life up, so I'm constantly being challenged by all these people. So I don't go back and I go forward, because I know there's a greater calling in my life. I know there's a greater purpose on my life. I know that I can impact more lives and do more with my life if I constantly find the right coaches, mentors, or even just friends to get around and go, man, wow, they're doing some really amazing things in their lives. How do I do that too? And constantly challenge me to become more. And like, who's going to do that for you? That's why we go to these conferences like Habitude Warriors and hear amazing speakers that are doing amazing things. So we're inspired. So we're our minds being opened, and we're being unlocked to the unconsciously incompetent
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Like we posted that this week on the Instagram. and the whole triangle of unconsciously incompetent to unconsciously competent at the end. And like right now, a lot of us just don't know what we just don't know about how great we can be. We just don't know what we just don't know about what we can accomplish in our lives. We just don't know what we don't know. That's what's wrong with us that may be holding us back from achieving more, doing more, and being more. And I know if you're out there watching this, if you made it this far in this show today, there is something inside of you that wants to change. There's something inside of you that wants to be better. There's something inside of you that wants to impact the world, not only your life, but the lives of those around you. If you made it this far, find the people that will challenge you to grow and invest in yourself. Hire the coaches, hire the mentors, show up to the conference, read the books, do whatever it is going to do to change your mind, your body, and your way so that you leave this world a better place when you go. So, Mr. Erik, thank you very much.
You're awesome.
Thank you for watching, folks. Please sign back up for the Habitude Warrior Conference and come back and watch the next episode next week for the Fireside Chats.